the Group 2. In this video, I will be discussing the students who are gifted and talented. Students who are gifted and talented intelligence quotient scores seem to be distributed throughout the population according to the normal curve or bell curve. Approximately 34.13% of a given population fall one standard deviation above the mean and other 34.13% fall one standard deviation below the mean. The 68.26% of the given population are expected to have average mental ability. Meanwhile, there are students who fall or more standard deviation above the mean that compose 16% of a given population. These students are described as above average, bright, superior, and high achievers. They belong to the group who are endowed with intellectual giftedness. It is not unusual for them to graduate with honors at the top of their classes and receive awards for excellent academic performance. Overview. This chapter covers the central concepts on giftedness and talent. The theories are definitions of human intelligence with an expanded presentation on the multiple intelligence theory by Howard Gardner. The groundwork for a lifetime of intelligence stresses the essential concepts on the development of the brain, the seat of man's intellectual capacity, the emerging paradigms, and various definitions of giftedness and talent, the characteristic of gifted and talented persons, assessment procedures, and an instructional system are presented as well. And now let's proceed to 30 years of enhancing giftedness and talent among Filipino children and youth. Diri sa 30 years of enhancing giftedness and talent, kay na usa ka tawo nga nagpursigi para ma-enhance ang mga gifted and talented nga mga Filipino. Ang ipangan kay si Dr. Aurora H. Roldan. Si Dr. Aurora H. Roldan kay she is the president of the Talented and Gifted Philippines Foundation and a pillar in the education of gifted Filipino children. She hosted the Children's Festival of Words, a creative writing workshop for verbally gifted youngsters. She simply invited private and public schools to nominate students as Children's Festival of Words participants on the basis of academic excellence and writing ability. For one, Elias Longa joined the festival as preschooler in 1977. Dr. Roldan recalled the turning point for gifted education in the Philippines when she organized and hosted the 5th World Conference on Gifted and Talented Children in Manila in August 1983. Gifted education specialists from all over the world exchanged views on the theories and practices on gifted education. The event provided the impetus for the establishment of the Talented and Gifted Philippines Foundation, or TAG Philippines. TAG has actively sought to fulfill its objectives of conducting research kung sa mga needs sa mga Filipino gifted child para mas ma-enhance pa sila. Vignettes on children and youth who are gifted and talented. From the word vignette, kaya usahan siya ka story or short description. And the following articles highlight the achievements of young Filipinos who show advanced cognitive development, superior intellectual ability, and talent in the arts. And these children and youth are gifted and talented. Find out what their characteristics are that make them different from children and youth of the same chronological ages. Meet the Gifted by Natalie Tamada. Kini siya kay usa na siya ka article nga gisot ni Natalie Tamada tungkol sa gifted nga tao nga nangalan og Emil Justin Cibrian. Si Emil Justin Cibrian kay he talks about his admiration for the wisdom of Confucius ug iyang mga thoughts sa pag-spread sa SARS epidemic and his disapproval on the use of contraceptives just like in a learned opinionated adult. Except that ko na kay si Emil Justin kay nag-edad pa og 12 years old niya nag-hisgot na siya bayan ana. And he mastered the national anthem, flags, capital, and the Philippines president before he turned 2.
So, WizKid. What is WizKid? So, WizKid is a person who is unusually intelligent, clever or successful, especially at an early age. So a whiz kid person have achieved success at a young age. So here in our report, Edmond M. Silvestre, the Philippine star, on July 23, 2003, conducted a study of a whiz kid. So Edmond M. Silvestre focuses Omar Parinas Rizwan as a whiz kid person. So Omar Parinas Rizwan of East Hanover, New Jersey, is a Microsoft Certified Professional or MCP, recognized and promoted by Microsoft as an expert with the technical skills needed to design, implement, and support solutions with Microsoft products. So his MCP lapel pen certificate of excellence and official ID card identifies his status to colleagues and clients, certifying that he has the skill to work in network support for many companies. So the thing is, Omar just turned 9 last April. So Omar is a computer whiz kind, the youngest Microsoft certified professional in the world. Presently, he is taking a series of exams to become a Microsoft certified systems engineer by the time he turns 10 in April 2004. I don't know where that amazing talent came from because there was never a genius in my family, says Rizwan's mother, Leia Parinas Rizwan, a registered nurse and native of Pututan, Iloilo. My husband is a physician and he's smart and intelligent but not that extraordinary like Omar. So her Pakistani-American husband, Dr. Muhammad Rizwan, an internal medicine specialist at New Jersey's Columbus Hospital, is also an O of eldest son's advanced computer skills. So maybe it's pure God's given talent, Dr. Rizwan says, and he deserves it because he's a very good boy and he works hard for it. Omar, his parents recall, began reading his ABCs at 18 months. At age 2.5, he could identify all car models at 3, and he could already read tariff signs and tell directions. His interest in computers began at age 5 when his father bought some computer book. Omar was already reading children's books since he was 3 years old, and so the computer book and the rest, as they say in history. His learning of the computer was gradual, but his being a fast reader helped a lot, says Mrs. Rizwan, the mother of Omar. While other kids his age are throwing tantrums or toys are U.S. outlets, Omar would rather be at Barnes and Noble, quietly browsing through computer books. It's very seldom that he would ask for a toy. He'd rather read his computer books at home, says Dr. Rizwan, but he doesn't have the complete Harry Potter series. A week before turning 9, Omar took the MCP exam at Infotech Research International and East Hanover testing facility. Omar passed the test in half the time, 45 minutes, leaving his fellow examiners, all adults, flabbergasted. Those are not ordinary exams. Omar must be a very brilliant young man. The exam is not the kind of thing that you can just study for a regurgitate, says Dr. Martin, Vice President of Education for the Chubb Institute, a reputable technical school. The multiple choice test asks very specific questions about Windows XP, such as the best way to configure a computer to run a particular applications. Examiners must know all sorts of computer applications known only in the world of computer geeks. Many testing centers offer preparation classes, but Omar did his own preparation in the confines of his family's upscale home. Omar is now preparing to become a Microsoft Certified System Engineer. The certification, which encompasses all kinds of subjects from computer hardware to database design and management and network infrastructure design, requires 9 exams. Omar, who eventually wanted to be a programmer, passed the second exam in 10 minutes. He hopes to pass all 9 tests before he turns 10. His aunt says that despite his enormous talent, he's a very normal kid. He usually sits on her lap and talks about computers. He also loves to tease his sisters, but he never brags about his talent. He is not affected by all the attention he's getting. When asked about his favorite TV shows, he said he does not like TV and does not watch it. Omar, who is a recipient of the 2000 Young Writers and Illustrators Award and is straight a student, also plays chess, piano, and soccer. He had become too advanced for his class, where he will be in 4th grade this fall. As of now, even Bill Gates' men are unsure of what to make of Omar. He is still years away from the legal working age. So Omar Parinas Rizwan is a whisked person. He is a Microsoft Certified Professional or MCP. So siya mo ay youngest in the world ng Microsoft Certified Professional or MCP. He is an expert with the technical skills needed to design, implement, and support solutions with Microsoft products. So at 18th months niya, kabalo na siya mubasa sa ABCs. So, di ba, kanang, ang mga bata karon is, kanang, maglisod pa man, di ba, o kanang maglitok, bisan pa ganing mag-edad na, o kanang 1 year old, 2, di ba, di kita kaingon nga kanang, kabaon na sila mo, sulti-sulti jud, di ba. So, siya is, sa iyahang 18 months pa lang niya is, kabalo na siya mubasa sa mga ABC. So, at the age of 2.5, maka-identify na siyang mga all-car models. So, karon gani nga bisag, dako na ta kay, maglisod gyapon tag-identify sa tanang mga, unsay mga kanang, mga model kanang nga car. So, diba? So, grabe si kanang Omar. So, at the age of 3, he could read traffic signs and tell directions. So, kitaan ni, bisag dako na kay, kung pauta ng tag-direction, kay, maglisod gyapon taghatag sa specific na address. Diba? Dagan pagyapon tag-paliko-liko. So, iya mother is si Leia Parinas Rizwan, a registered nurse. Ngayong father is si Dr. Muhammad Rizwan, internal medicine specialist at New Jersey Columbus Hospital. So, kanina time is si Omar ani is he just turned 9 years old. So presently, he is taking a series of exams to become a Microsoft Certified System Engineer by the time he turns 10 in April 2004. So, sa kaning exam is require ni siya kanang i-take ang 9 exams. So, sa edad niya 5 is nagsugod na daw siya iyang interest sa computer. Samot na pagpalit sa iyang papa og computer book. So, the age of 5, ang mga bata ni uban is natantrums pa. So, while si Omar is ga-focus na siya sa iyang interest. So, dili lang kay sa computer iyang interest no. Si Omar said is kanang napo siya mga kanang kasi-klaseng sports na kanang ginaduwa. So, mag-play siya chess, and also he plays piano and soccer. So, still years away from the legal working age. So, di ba katong nakapasar man siya og katong napasaran man to niya og katong exams nga kanang iyahang gitaken. So, kanang ang katong iyahang mga kadungan is naglibog kung kanang sa iyahang kanang young age pa siya ba niya nakapasar, so layo pa kay siya sa kanang legal nga working age. So iyang mga kauban is mga adult pa, so siya may kanang maingon ginato nga genius siya gid, grabe gifted siya kay kanang sa iyahang pangidaron is nakatake siya atong nga exam and kanang nakapasar siya. So next would be the gifted and talented Filipino youth. So diri is I know na mga daghang Filipino kanang youth nga talented, but diri is ang gifokusan diri is si Karil Marquez. So Aliw Awards affirms Karil's exceptional gift. When the Aliw Foundation recently gave its Best New Female Artist Award to Karil for Magnificat, friends were especially thrilled because they had practically seen the popular teen talent grow up in front of their very eyes. So that was because since 1995, the musical had been holding some of its rehearsals in home of lead singer, actress Pinky Marquez. So si Pinky Marquez, mo ni siya ang mama ni Karil Marquez. So Karil has a passion for theater. In some TV interviews, Karil has said that her love for performing bloomed during those rehearsals and performances, during which she imbibed the passion for theater that her mother Pinky shared with the musical's other original performance like Adi Bayas or Rito Asilo, Jingo Buena, Dulce and Bonji Pascua. For our part, we have always been struck by Karil's unique combinations of Frenchy looks and husky singing voice. We urge Pinky to give her young daughter opportunities to perform, but it took years before Karil herself realized that she felt most fulfilled when she was singing and acting. Once she had come to that realization, however, nothing could stop the already teenage Karil from quickly making her mark in the biz. So as an actress, she became a regular on some TV shows for teen viewers. So then, her singing talent got noticed when she guested some musical programs. Her unusual 1-2 punch in terms of acting and singing made her stand out even more in a field of beautiful young talents who could do neither well. So she also boosted her career. So Karil's biggest career boost came when she was chosen over many other auditionists for the coveted slot of VJ. Despite all this success, Karil continues to dream of doing more than just walk-on roles in theatrical productions, which is why we sat down with Pinky and Karil to conceptualize a play that will star Pinky and Karil in the story about the mother and daughter to be mounted early next year. So Karil said she was thrilled to be playing her first major role on stage and was especially delighted that she was acting with her mother. Karil's new Aliw Award affirms what those who've known her for years have long been aware of, that she's a young talent with a genuine gift and love for performing that will take her far in the field of entertainment. So, like mother, like daughter combination nga talent. So, great people of the 20th century. So, here we have 6 gifted people. So, first is the leader. So, the leader is the diplomats and dictators who have shaped the destiny of nations. So, these are the leaders: American President Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Richard Nixon. Also, we have German Chancellor Adolf Hitler, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Next would be the activists. So, the activists is the men and women who fought for change from outside the traditional halls of power. This would be Indian peace advocate Mohandas Gandhi, South African President Nelson Mandela, Israeli President David Ben-Gurion, Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran, and German Dr. Albert Schweitzer. Next would be the pioneers. So the pioneers is the men and women who have dared to explore new fields and break down barriers. So first is the American pilot Charles Lindbergh, who pioneered the first solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. So siya mo first nga kanang isog nga ni cross sa Atlantic Ocean. Next would be American pilot Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly the Atlantic solo. American pilots Wilbur and Orville Wright, French Jacques Cousteau, who explored the depths of the ocean, and the mountain climbers Edmond Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, American environmentalist Rachel Carson, and also the American baseball player Jack Robinson. Next would be the innovators. So, the innovators is the gifted few whose vision have changed our life. So first is American Henry Ford, founder of Ford Motor Corporation, and American pilot Eddie Rickenbacker, American newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst. So diba grabe ang ato ang na-adapt kang kanang William Randolph kay diba sa una pa lang is katong wala patay kanang gadget kay makakuha tag mga news, mga balita is sa newspaper ba diba? So next would be American computer genius and founder of Microsoft Bill Gates. So si Bill Gates. So kani siya is kanang daho kay ni siya natabang sa ato karon kay kanang ato ang kanang life karon is more on kanang nagtuyok na ba siya sa kanang computer. So kani grabe ang kanang talent ni kanang Bill Gates kay kanang nakahuna gid siya kanang about sa kanang computer ba kanang murag magamit bitaw kaayo, di ba karon gamit kay nato ang Microsoft. Kung dira ara ta mag-online games, mag-work, mag-play, and also to communicate. So dako kayog impact ang nabuhat ni kanang Bill Gates. So next is the scientists, the researchers whose work has revolutionized human society in span of only 100 years. So these are si Polish scientist Marie Curie, who discovered the atomic nature of matter, and Scottish doctor Alexander Fleming, who discovered the antibiotics nature of penicillin, British Francis Crick, and American James Watson, who identified the double helix structure of the deoxyribonucleic acid, or the DNA. Yes. American Dr. Jonas E. Salk, who discovered polio vaccine. So, remember mo ato katong katong kanang basta kaning nabuhat ni kaning American Dr. Jonas E. Salk is dako kini siya tabang karon, di ba? Kay di ba ang kaning polio is makuha man siya sa mga bata nga di pa matungtong og 10, like for example is katong 70 years old na gi-incubate bitaw katong ang iyahang lawas is gi-incubate except sa katong iyahang o kay iyahang ura betoy kanang maglihok-lihok. Basta ka bago ra siya namatay bago ra to siya namatay, and kato siya is masud pud nato siya diri sa gifted and talented. It's because kay di ba kato siya kay kanang iyaharaman tong liog mo makalihok-lihok no. So naato siya kanang book nga na-publish, nakalimot lang ko sangan kay writer man pud to siya. So gamit ang iyahang baba kanang mora to yung palihukon para magsuwat bitaw, pero i-monitor gyapon to siya sa kanang naay mga doctor nga nag-monitor sa iya ha. So daghan to siya book nga na-publish. So usa to siya sa example aning gifted and talented. And also American anthropologist Margaret Mead and many more. So next would be the creators, the artists whose work has shaped and mirrored the century. Spanish visual artist and painter Pablo Picasso. So I know everyone of you already know kanang Pablo Picasso, di ba? Katong na yung mga kanang painting, famous painting, considered as the century's most significant artist who created the Cubist style of art. So German architect Mies van der Rohe, American photographer Alfred Stieglitz, American painter George O'Keeffe, and American novelist James Joyce, and many more. So great people of the 20th century. So here we have 6 gifted people. So first is the leader. So the leader is the diplomats and dictators who have shaped the destiny of nations. So these are the leaders: American President Theodore Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Richard Nixon. Also, we have German Chancellor Adolf Hitler, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Next would be the activists. So, the activists is the men and women who fought for change from outside the traditional halls of power. This would be Indian peace advocate Mohandas Gandhi, South African President Nelson Mandela, Israeli President David Ben-Gurion, Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran, and German Dr. Albert Schweitzer. Next would be the pioneers. So the pioneers is the men and women who have dared to explore new fields and break down barriers. So first is the American pilot Charles Lindbergh, who pioneered the first solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. So siya mo first nga kanang isog nga ni cross sa Atlantic Ocean. Next would be American pilot Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly the Atlantic solo. American pilots Wilbur and Orville Wright, French Jacques Cousteau, who explored the depths of the ocean, and the mountain climbers Edmond Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, American environmentalist Rachel Carson, and also the American baseball player Jack Robinson. Next would be the innovators. So the innovators is the gifted few whose vision have changed our life. So first is American Henry Ford, founder of Ford Motor Corporation, and American pilot Eddie Rickenbacker, American newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst. So diba grabe ang ato ang na-adapt kang kanang William Randolph kay diba sa una pa lang is kanang katong wala patay ka ng gadget kay makakuha tag mga news, mga balita is sa newspaper ba ito, di ba? So next would be American computer genius and founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates. So si Bill Gates. So kani siya is kanang daho kay ni siya natabang sa ato karon kay kanang ato ang kanang life karon is more on kanang nagtuyok na ba siya sa kanang computer. So kani grabe ang kanang talent ni kanang Bill Gates kay kanang nakahuna gid siya kanang about sa kanang computer ba kanang murag magamit bitaw kaayo, di ba karon gamit kay nato ang Microsoft. Kung dira ara ta mag-online games, mag-work, mag-play and also to communicate. So dako kayog impact ang nabuhat ni kanang Bill Gates. So next is the scientists, the researchers whose work has revolutionized human society in span of only 100 years. So these are si Polish scientist Marie Curie, who discovered the atomic nature of matter, and Scottish doctor Alexander Fleming, who discovered the antibiotics nature of penicillin, British Francis Crick, and American James Watson, who identified the double helix structure of the deoxyribonucleic acid or the DNA. Yes. American Dr. Jonas E. Salk, who discovered polio vaccine. So, remember mo ato katong kisa gito ay katong kanang basta kaning nabuhat ni kaning American Dr. Jonas E. Salk is dako kini siya tabang karon, di ba? Kay di ba ang kaning polio is makuha man siya sa mga kanang sa mga bata nga di pa matungtong og 10, like for example is katong 70 years old na gi-incubate bitaw katong ang iyahang lawas is gi-incubate except sa katong iyahang kay iyahang ura beto kanang maglihok-lihok. Basta ka bago ra siya namatay and kato siya is masuod pud nato siya diri sa gifted and talented. It's because kay di ba kato siya kay kanang iyaharaman tong liog mo'y makalihok-lihok no. So naato siya kanang book nga na-publish, nakalimot lang ko sangan kay writer man pud to siya. So gamit ang iyahang baba kanang mora to yung palihukon para magsuwat bitaw, pero i-monitor gyapon to siya sa kanang naay mga doctor nga nag-monitor sa iya ha. So daghan to siya book nga na-publish. So usa to siya sa example aning gifted and talented. And also American anthropologist Margaret Mead, and many more. So next would be the creators, the artists whose work has shaped and mirrored the century. Spanish visual artist and painter Pablo Picasso. So I know everyone of you already know kanang Pablo Picasso, di ba? Katong na yung mga kanang painting, famous painting, considered as the century's most significant artist who created the Cubist style of art. So German architect Mies van der Rohe, American photographer Alfred Stieglitz, American painter George O'Keeffe, and American novelist James Joyce, and many more.
Okay, let's get right into the next topic, which is the central concepts of giftedness and talent. So, ang mga tanyag na sikat na mga tao sa lain-laing mga kanasuran, mapababae man o lalaki, nga nailhan sa ilang pagkamaayo sa mga butang na ilang nakamahuan, nga sila mismo ang nagdayag sa ilang ngalan sa maong kasaysayan. Ang mga gifted o talented na mga tao naagid sila'y upat ka qualities nga naangkon nila ug mao ni ang intelligence or high intellectual ability, Doon na sad sila creativity, talent, o task commitment. Kining intelligence or high intellectual ability, buot pasabot ana is kung giunsa paghandle nila sa butang nga dili nila familiar og mapangitaan nila og solusyon nga masolbad ang problema sa hapsay na pamaagi. Sama anang nag-answer sa math, specifically sa calculus. Diba? Nanginahanglan man na og high intellectual ability para matubag nimo ang problem. Unya, next is creativity. Vital ni siya maoy usang timahilan kasagaran nga ang tao gifted og talented siya kay doon na siya creativity. Unless if a person that lacks creativity, dili nila ma-emphasize ang ilang pagka-giftedness and talent, wala ay innovation na may tabo kay ang nalimitahan man ang ilang abilidad sa pagbuhat anang butang. Then next is talent. Understandable naman ni talented people often comes with great effort. Gibansagan sila na gifted and talented kay tungod sa ilang countless effort sa paghone sa ilang abilidad. Okay, last is task commitment. Talented and gifted people driven with insurmountable passion sa ilang mga kabuluhaton. Dapat ang usa ka mga task nga nasugdan nimo dapat dili nimo pasagdaan na magtiwangwang. Dapat committed ka para ma-achieve nimo ang maayo nga resulta. So magisgot ta sa mga tao nga nagpossess all the qualities of central elements, giftedness, and talented. Sama ni Lea Salonga, usa ka famous national artist sa Pilipinas nga nakadawat og daghang awards o achievements sa edad na 3. Nakitaan siya og talento sa iyang pagkanta sa iyang anting usa ka mga awit. Dahil ning enter siya sa mga contest unya nakadaog siya nga gitawag siya sa kadaghanan nga child prodigy. Human gi-offeran siya sa Disney nga maoy mukanta sa OST sa Aladdin nga A Whole New World ug sa Salida nga Mulan nga ang title sa kanta kay Reflection. Dili lang kana ang iyang talent napay lain. Kabalo sa siya mo acting o mag-theater play. Gi-invite siya sa Hollywood na mo-audition sa play na Miss Saigon unya nadawat siya sa play og ning sunod pod ang usa ka play nga Les Miserables nga siya mao ang bida na si Eponine. Syempre, dili nato makalimtan ang atuang national hero na si Jose Rizal nga nailhan sa kadaghanan sa iyang mga nabuhat kaniadto. Siya kay usa ka gifted og talented kay sa edad na 3 anyos kamao na siya musuwat og mubasa. Gifted kaayo siya. Unya kamao siya musulat og tula sa edad na 15. Kabuhat pa siya mismo og duha ka novel. Grabe katalented niya. Nakabuhat siya og sculpture nga gikan sa kahoy. O kamao siya mo paint og canvas samtang ning abroad siya sa laing nasod. O greatest talent niya kamao siya mo tambal og mga sakit sa mata sa nga siya mismo nag-opera sa mata sa iyang inahan. Ang mo'y nakapaayo kini sa iyang sakit. Dili na to ma-imagine na bisan og bata pa ka aduna na kay daghang na achievement nga naangkon. Whereas some people diha na makabaton og mga achievements kung na edad-edaran na. Tungod nila naghatag sila og dungog sa atuang nasod. Og doon na sila importansya sa society kay tungod nila makabenefit ta sa ilang talento. Dili lang sa ilang kaugalingon hasta kita sama anang mga professional in the field of medicine like doctor, dermatologist, surgeon, and etc. Other fields of academics kay kanang math, arts, etc. The achievements introduce dramatic changes in human lives such as increase in the lifespan, cure for diseases, more convenient, comfortable, and enjoyable lifestyles, and information technology. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which is the human intelligence. The nature of the human intellect has fascinated scholars and became the subject of debates studies and propositions as early as during the time of the Greek philosophers Plato and Aristotle. When the field of psychology began to emerge in the 17th and 18th centuries as a discipline separate from philosophy, mathematics, and biology, individuals such as John Locke, Charles Darwin, Francis Galton, and Charcot continued to influence the study of intelligence. A number of prominent European schools of psychology flourished until the early part of the 19th century. Some American psychologists studied in Europe and returned home to establish influential psychology programs in the United States. The study of intelligence gained popularity and greatly influenced by the works of Wilhelm Wundt, James McKeen Cattell, J.S. Hall, and Hermann Ebbinghaus. As the students of the grade schools began to form their own program, the number of theoretical and empirical investigations of intelligence increased. The prominent psychologists of the 20th century were Edward L. Thorndike, Alfred Binet, Pearson, Charles Spearman, Goddard Stern, Theodore Simon, Yerkes, Lewis Terman, and Hollingworth Goodenough, Vygotsky, and Jean Piaget. Some of the names na akong na-mention is akong na ma-discuss later in the next topic. So, let's proceed. So, in the latter part of the 20th century, new statistical designs and modern experimental strategies were developed that made psychological testing popular in most Western countries. The theory of multiple intelligence began to appear, particularly in the work of Thurston and Guilford. The prominent theorists were Bert, Thurston, P. Cattell, Wechsler, Guilford, Vernon, Hunt, Anastasi, Thorndike, Enhelder, Taylor, and Eysenck. So, current trends in intelligence theory and research involve the formation of more complex multiple intelligence theories. Standardized tests to measure intelligence are used only as one of the sources of data about mental ability. The fields of genetics and neurological research methodologies on the measurement of intelligence has generated a number of factors on intelligence. In addition to mental ability, other data are considered simultaneously in determining the intelligence level of a person. Data are derived from the environment, biological factors, and psychological aspects of the intellect. The prominent theorists in the present movement include R. Cattell, Carroll, Jensen, Kamin, Renzulli, Gardner, and Sternberg. While a big number of definitions of intelligence have been published, there seems to be no consensus or agreement on what intelligence actually is. Cattell, in 1971, defines intelligence as a composite or combination of human traits, which includes the capacity for insight into complex relationships, all of the processes involved in abstract thinking, and a capacity to acquire new capacity. Okay, let's proceed to the next topic, which is the theories and definitions of intelligence. Ang una is the Binet-Simon scale. Familiar mo aning the Binet-Simon scale? Mo ni ang katugis gud sa pag niaging discussion wherein ang pag-compute sa imong IQ is ang imong mental age i-divide sa chronological age times the average IQ score nga 100. But first, ato sa atong basahon ng iyang theory o definitions of intelligence. So, the Binet-Simon scale, the modern approach to understand the concepts of intelligence began with the work of Alfred Binet, a French psychologist, and his colleague Theodore Simon. Bainey was hired by the Paris school systems to develop tests that would identify children who were not learning and would not benefit from further education. Together, Bainey and Simon developed and co-authored a test to roughly measure the intellectual and development of young children between the ages of 3 to 12. They wanted to find a way to measure the ability of children to think and reason. Kanang mga cognitive abilities, kanang including memory, reasoning, problem solving, and perception. So, Bainey developed a test that asked children to follow commands, copy patterns, name objects, and put things in order or arrange them properly. From the Bainey's work, the term intelligence quotient or IQ evolved. The IQ is the ratio of mental age to chronological age with 100 as the average. So, maghatag tag ng scenario kato lang kang sir ng example. So ang 8 years old nga bata nakapasa sa pang 8 years old kay naa siya IQ nga 100, which is the average for his or her chronological age. Meanwhile, ang 8 anyos nga bata is nakapasa sa test nga pang 10 anyos kay naa siya mental age nga 10. Nya imo sa i-compute ang mental age nga 10 i-divide sa iyang chronological age nga 8 times 100, ang result is 125. So ang child's IQ is above the average for his or her chronological age. He or she is brighter or more superior than other children with his or her age. Bainey's and Simon's work influenced the growth of the intelligence testing movement. Next is the Spearman's two-factor theory of intelligence. Charles Spearman, a British psychologist, advanced the two-factor theory of intelligence, G and S. Thus, the performance of any intellectual act requires some combination of G and or general factor which is available to the same individual to the same degree for all intellectual acts, and of S or specific factors which are specific to the act and which varies in strength from one act to another. The theory explains that if one knows how a person performs on one task that is highly saturated with G, one can safely predict a similar level of performance or another highly G saturated task. Prediction of performance on tasks with high S factors is less accurate. Nevertheless, since G pervades all tasks, prediction will be significantly better than chance. Thus, the most important information to have about a person's intellectual ability is an estimate of his G. Okay, let's try to refer it to the simplest explanation of Spearman's two-factor theory of intelligence. So, it is proposed by psychologist Charles Spearman suggests that intelligence is composed of two factors, G factor, general intelligence, and specific abilities, which is the S factors. According to Spearman, the G factor represents a person's overall cognitive ability or general intelligence, which influences performance on a wide range of mental tasks. The S factors, on the other hand, refers to specific abilities that are more specialized and are related to particular tasks or domains. In simpler terms, Spearman's theory suggests that intelligence is not just a single general ability, but is composed of a combination of a broad underlying factor that influence performance across different tasks, along with specific abilities that are more task specific. This theory has been influential in the field of psychology and has contributed to our understanding of the complex nature of intelligence and how it can be measured and assessed. Okay, next is the Thurman Stanford Binet individual test. This theory is just basically came from the psychologist Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon. Though ang iyang theory is based from Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon, wala sa giusab dito na wala sa ganang puno about sa cognitive ability nga gihatag ni Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon. Kaya ang katong gihatag ni Alfred Binet nga cognitive ability kay nang dili siya igo murag kuwang siya. Kaya ang gihatag kay all about memory, reasoning, problem solving, and perception. While kang Thurman kay nag-add lang siya og kanang cognitive ability like verbal reasoning and abstract thinking. Para ni ano mo lang yung giusap ang Binet-Simon scale, no? Kaya anang test ni Binet and Simon scale kay para niya kay bias. Utang ka lang kung magpa-exam si Alfred Binet o Theodore Simon nga katorang cognitive ability, ang tendency is makakuha og dagkog scores ang mga estudyante. Dili sila ma-challenge ato sa gihatag niya nga test ug dili na ma-achieve in determining the IQ sa usa ka tawo nga accurate. So mao to iyang gi-publish iyang theory dayon daghan man nakauyon ug mao nang nga hangtod karon kay ginagamit kay ang iyang theory dili man siya ng bias kay diha makita nga kung unsa ang nakamuan sa usa ka estudyante maura gina iya matubag og diha matest kung asa kutom mga lang intelligence. Okay, na explain na nako. So ako sang basahon ng iyang definition sa iyang theory of intelligence. Nagkandak anang theory kay si Lewis Madison Thurman, an American cognitive psychologist, published a revised and perfected Binet-Simon scale for American population in 1906 while he was at Stanford University. In 1916, he adopted William Stern's suggestion that the ratio between mental and chronological age nakalimot kog mention no about sa unsa pag-calculate sa ng IQ. Same raman sila sa kan ng Alfred Binet nga theory wherein ang imong IQ is equate siya sa mental age divided by chronological age times 100 as your average IQ score. Okay, balik ta. So balik ta kang Williams suggestion that the ratio between mental and chronological age be taken as a unitary measure F intelligence multiplied by 100 to get rid of the decimals. The resulting intelligence quotient become known as the IQ. The classic formula for the IQ is IQ equals mental age divided by chronological age times 100. By far the Thurman Stanford Binet individual intelligence test. Next is the Thorndike stimulus response theory. Edward L. Thorndike, an American psychologist, and his students used objective measurement of intelligence on human subjects as early as 1903. During the 1920s, he developed a multi-factored test of intelligence that considered of completion, arithmetic, vocabulary, and directions test, CAVD. The logic behind the CAVD test eventually became the foundation of modern intelligence test. Thorndike drew an important distinction among three broad classes of intellectual functioning: abstract intelligence, that is measured by standard intelligence test; mechanical intelligence, which is the ability to visualize relationships among objects and understand how the physical world works; and social intelligence, which is the ability to function successfully in interpersonal situations. He proposed the abstract intelligence has four dimensions, namely altitude or the complexity of difficulty of task one can perform with, or the variety of tasks of a given difficulty area, which is the function of width and altitude, and speed, which is the number of tasks one can complete in a given time. Thorndike is called for his work on what he considered as the two most basic intelligence, trial and error, and stimulus response association. His proposition stated that stimulus response connection that are repeated are strengthened, while those that are not used are weakened. The sixth theory is called Cattell's theory on fluid and crystallized intelligence. Raymond B. Cattell, a British-American psychologist, theorized that there are two types of intelligence. Fluid intelligence is essentially nonverbal and relatively culture-free. Fluid intelligence involves adaptive and new learning capabilities related to mental operations and processes on capacity, decay, selection, and storage of information. This type of intelligence is more dependent on the physiological structures or parts of the brain that are responsible for intellectual behavior. It increases until adolescence, then goes through a plateau and begins to gradually decline with the degeneration of the brain's physiological structures. Crystallized intelligence develops through the exercise of fluid intelligence. It is the product of the acquisition of knowledge and skills that are strongly dependent upon exposure to culture. It is related to mental products and achievements and highly influenced by formal and informal educational factors throughout the lifespan. Crystallized intelligence continues to increase through middle adulthood. So, unsa man ang fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence ni Raymond Cattell? So, ang definitions of fluid intelligence is fluid intelligence refers to the ability to think logically and solve problems in novel situations. Independent of acquired knowledge, it involves reasoning, abstract thinking, and the ability to adapt new challenges. So, ang characteristics ana sa fluid intelligence is fluid intelligence is considered to be innate and biologically influenced, representing a person's capacity for learning new information and solving unfamiliar problems. For example, figuring out a new puzzle, understanding complex relationships, or adapting to a new task without prior experience are examples of tasks that require fluid intelligence. And what about the crystallized intelligence? Unsa may definition ana? So, unsa may buot pasabot sa crystallized intelligence? So, ang definition ana niya kay crystallized intelligence refers to the knowledge of and skills acquired through experience, education, and exposure to the environment. It involves the application of learned information, vocabulary, and cultural knowledge. Ang characteristics niya is based on accumulated knowledge and experience, representing a person's ability to use previously acquired information to solve problems and make decisions. So, Cattell's theory suggests that both fluid and crystallized intelligence play essential roles in cognitive functioning. Fluid intelligence is more related to problem solving and adaptability in new situations, while crystallized intelligence is more associated with the applications of acquired knowledge and skills. This distinction helps explain how individuals can excel in different types of tasks based on their innate problem-solving capabilities and their accumulated knowledge. This theory is called Guilford's theory on the structure of the intellect. G.P. Guilford, an American psychologist, advanced a general theory of human intelligence whose major application or use is for educational research, personnel selection and placement, and the education of gifted and talented children. The theory on the structure of the intellect advances that human intelligence is composed of 180 separate mental abilities. The initial count was 120 that have been identified through factor analysis. The mental abilities are composites of three separate dimensions, namely contents, operations, and products. Four types of contents are figural, symbolic, semantic, and behavioral. First is figural, or the properties of stimuli experienced through the senses, for example, visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, and kinesthetic. Examples are shapes and forms, sizes, colors, sounds, taste, temperature, intensity, and volume. Number 2 is symbolic, or letters, numbers, symbols, design. Semantic, or words and ideas. And lastly is the behavioral, or actions and expressions of thoughts and ideas. The five kinds of operations are cognition, or the ability to gain, recognize, and discover knowledge. Memory, or the ability to retain, store, retrieve, and recall the contents of thoughts. Number 3, divergent production, or the ability to produce a variety of ideas or use solutions to a problem. Number 4, convergent production, or the ability to produce a single best solution to a problem. And lastly is evaluation, or the ability to make judgment and decide whether the intellectual contents are correct or wrong, good and bad. So the 6 kinds of products are units that come in single member, letter, or word. Number 2, classes, or a higher order concept. For example, men and women, equals people. Number 3, relations or connections between and among classes and concepts. 4, systems, or the process of ordering or classification of relations. 5, transformation, or the process of altering and restructuring a intellectual content. And lastly, implication, or the process making inferences from separate pieces of information. Guilford developed a wide variety of psychometric tests to measure the specific mental abilities predicted by the theory. The test provided the original definitions of the mental abilities prepared by the theory. The following examples illustrate 3 closely related abilities that differ in terms of operation, content, and product. Number 1 is evaluation of semantic units, or AMU, is measured by the attentional fluency test in which respondents are asked to make judgment about concepts. For example, which of the following objects best satisfies the criteria hard and round? An iron, a button, a tennis ball, or a light bulb. Number 2, divergent production of semantic units, or DMU, would require the respondent to list all the items he or she can think of that are hard and round. Number 3, divergent production of symbolic units or DPU involves a different content category. For example, list all the words that end in TION. The next theory is Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence. Robert Sternberg of Yale University theorized that intelligence is a fixed capacity of a person. Hence, with higher intellectual capabilities, as in the case with the children and youth who are gifted and talented, almost every task can be achieved at a high level of performance. The capabilities that underlie intelligence will enable a highly intelligent child at any age to do better than his peers or age mates. Intellectual abilities must increase with age, given the supportive environment and effective teaching learning conditions. The triarchic theory of intelligence seeks to explain in an integrative way the relationship between intelligence and the internal world of the individual or the mental mechanisms that underlie intelligent behavior. Number 2. Intelligence and external world of the individual or the use of these mental mechanisms in everyday life in order to attain an intelligent fit to the environment. And last, intelligence and experience or the mediating role of one's passage through life between the internal and external worlds of the individual. Sternberg calls his theory triarchic because intelligence has three main parts of dimensions: a contextual plan part, an experiential part, and a componential part. Contextual intelligence emphasizes intelligence in its socio-cultural context. Thus, intelligence for a child requires adaptive behavior. Children's basic cognitive skills, according to Giselle, it is not required for an older person. Similarly, it may be stated that intelligence for a Filipino child, specifically those who are deprived of the basic needs, requires adaptive behavior that is not required of an American child. Intelligence for children in rural areas require adaptive behavior and require of children who live in urban areas. Persons who are eye on the contextual dimensions of intelligence quickly recognize what factors influence success on various tasks. They are adept at both adapting to and shaping their environment so that they can accomplish their goals. Experiential intelligence emphasizes insight and ability to formulate new ideas and combine seemingly unrelated facts or information. Sternberg emphasizes the role of experience. He says that the habitual, highly practiced ways of dealing with the environment are not the true indicators of intelligence. Rather, it is the way a person responds to an event that is new, novel, and even unexpected that shows how smart he or she is. Componential intelligence emphasizes the effectiveness of processing of information. Sternberg defines component as the underlying cognitive mechanics that carry out the adaptive behavior to novel situations. The cognitive mechanisms are equivalent to the skills, knowledge, and competencies that a person would have acquired mainly through education and experience. There are two kinds of components: performance and there are two kinds of components: performance components and meta components. Performance components are used in the actual execution of the task. They include encoding, comparing, chunking, and triggering actions and speech. The meta components are the higher order executive processes used in planning, monitoring, and evaluating one working memory program. Sternberg has identified 6 significant meta-components. As he emphasized time and again, meta-components form the basis for developmental changes in intelligence. All activations and feedback all are filtered through these elements, and if they do not perform their function well, then it will not matter very much what the other kinds of components do. 1. Recognition of what has to be done, understanding the task at hand. 2. Selecting performance components and encoding important features of a task. 3. Selecting an appropriate mental representation visually or verbally. 4. Organizing performance components by formulating plans for organizing and sequencing the steps or procedures in the process. 5. Deciding how to allocate attention and resources. And 6. Monitoring one's performance. Persons who are high in componential intelligence do very well in abstract thinking and are able to process information effectively. They think analytically, critically, and creatively. Creative.
Multiple intelligences is a theory proposed by Howard Gardner, a psychologist and professor at Harvard University. According to Gardner, intelligence is not a single, fixed entity but a range of different cognitive abilities that individuals possess to varying degrees. In the context of special education, the theory of multiple intelligences suggests that students have different strengths and ways of learning. In special education, understanding and applying the concept of multiple intelligences can help educators tailor their teaching methods to accommodate the diverse learning styles of students with disabilities. By recognizing and nurturing the various intelligences, educators can create a more inclusive and effective learning environment for students with special needs. Gardner identified 8 different types of intelligences in his theory, which are:
1. Linguistic intelligence is the ability to use language to excite, please, convince, stimulate, or convey information. The indicators of linguistic intelligence are manifested by persons who enjoy reading, love stories, joke, riddles, have a good vocabulary, talking, can spell easily. 2. Logical mathematical intelligence is the ability to explore patterns, categories, and relationships by manipulating objects or symbols and experimenting in a controlled, orderly manner. The indicators of logical mathematical intelligence are manifested by persons who want to know the things work, play with numbers, enjoy solving problems. 3. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence refers to the ability to use fine and gross motor skills in sports, the performing arts, and crafts production. The indicators of this component of the multiple intelligences are observed among persons who have a good sense of balance, good eye-hand coordination, have sense of rhythm, graceful in movement. 4. Spatial intelligence is the ability to perceive and mentally manipulate a firm or object, perceived, and create tension, balance, and composition in a visual or spatial display. Some indicators of this aspect of MI are manifested by persons who like to draw, doodle, sketch, like to take things apart, like to build things. Musical intelligence is the ability to enjoy, perform, or compose a musical piece. The indicators of musical intelligence are shown by persons who have sensitivity to sound patterns, hum or move rhythmically, capture the essence of a beat, and adjust movement patterns according to changes. 6. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to understand and get along with others. The indicators of the multiple intelligences are observed in persons who demonstrates empathy towards others, feel so much for others, are sensitive to the feelings of others. 7. Intrapersonal intelligence is the ability to gain access to and understand one's inner feelings, dreams, and ideas. The indicators of this element of multiple intelligences are evidenced by people who are goal-oriented, develop plans carefully, are aware of their strengths and weaknesses, confident of their own abilities, and accept their limitations. 8. Naturalist intelligence is the most recent addition to the original list of 7 multi-PLE intelligences. Naturalist intelligence refers to the person's ability to identify and classify patterns in nature. In prehistoric times, when people relied on hunting animals and gathering plants, naturalist intelligence was used to sort what animals and plants were edible or not. At present, a person uses his or her naturalist intelligence in the ways he or she relates to the environment.
In the book, Your Child's Growing Mind, Brain Development and Learning from Birth to Adolescence, by Jane M. Healy, published in 1994, the author discusses essential concepts on brain development in utero that every special education student should understand. While I couldn't find a specific reference to Healy 1996, the following key concepts on brain development in utero are crucial for special education. 1. Neural tube formation. The development of the human central nervous system involves the intricate process of neural tube formation. This early stage is critical for the formation of the brain and spinal cord. 2. Neuronal and glial proliferation. During fetal brain development, there is a rapid proliferation of neurons and glial cells, which are essential for the growth and functioning of the brain. 3. Neuronal migration. Neuronal migration is a crucial process where neurons move to their designated locations in the brain. Disruptions in this process can lead to neurodevelopmental disorders. 4. Cortical organization. The organization of the cerebral cortex, the outer layer of the brain responsible for higher cognitive functions, undergoes significant development in utero. Understanding cortical organization is essential for grasping brain function and development. 5. Early brain growth. The embryo's brain and nervous system begin to develop as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. This early brain growth sets the foundation for the complex development that continues throughout pregnancy. By understanding these essential concepts of brain development in utero, special education students can gain insights into the early stages of neural development and how it influences cognitive and behavioral outcomes. This knowledge can inform educators and support professionals in designing effective interventions and educational strategies tailored to the unique needs of students with disabilities. Definitions of giftedness and talent. Through the years, the concept on intellectual giftedness had changed as shown in the following figure, Heward, 2003. Old concepts has the following. 1. Giftedness is high IQ. 2. Trait-based. 3. Subgroup elitism. 4. Innate, in there. 5. Test-driven. 6. Authoritarian, you are or not gifted. 7. School-oriented. 8. Ethnocentric. While emerging paradigm has 1. Many types of giftedness. 2. Qualities-based. 3. Individual excellence. 4. Based on context. 5. Achievement, driven, what you do, is gifted. 6. Collaborative, determined by consultation. 7. Field and domain-oriented. 8. Diverse.
Federal or American government's definitions. The first federal definition of the gifted and talented was contained in the 1972 Maryland Report. Gifted and talented children are capable of high performance and demonstrate potential ability in any of the following 6 areas: the general intellectual ability, specific academic aptitude, creative or productive thinking, leadership ability, ability in the visual or performing arts, and the psychomotor ability. The Gifted and Talented Children's Act of 1978 defined gifted and talented children as those possessing demonstrated or potential abilities that give evidence of high performance capability in such areas as intellectual, creative, specific, academic or leadership ability, or in the performing or visual arts, and who, by reason thereof, require service or activities not ordinarily provided by the school. The definition encompasses all of the areas where a person can demonstrate outstanding performance. Almost all of the states have built their programs for the gifted and talented learners around the federal definition. The 1991 Report on National Excellence, a case for developing America's talent, deleted the term gifted and used outstanding talent and exceptional talent instead. The definition stated that talent occurs in all groups across all cultures and is not necessarily revealed in test scores, but in persons' high performance capability in the intellectual, creative, and artistic realm. Giftedness is said to connote a mature power rather than a developing ability. Now, let's have the key contemporary and related definitions. First is the Renzulli's three-trait definition. Renzulli's 1978 three-trait definition of giftedness continues to be cited in special education literature. The definition states that giftedness results from the interaction of number 1, above average general abilities, number 2, a high level of task commitment, and 3, creativity. Gifted and talented children are those possessing or capable of developing this composite set of traits and applying them to any potential valuable area of human performance. Children who manifest or capable of developing an interaction among three clusters required a wide variety of educational opportunities and services that are not ordinarily provided through regular instructional programs. Renzulli's three-ring conception of giftedness, proposed by Giuseppe Renzulli, is a widely recognized framework for understanding giftedness. Renzulli's model views giftedness as a combination of three interrelated traits: the above-average ability, creativity, and task commitment. Here's a breakdown of each trait. Number 1. Above-average ability. This refers to the traditional view of giftedness, which involves possessing high intelligence or exceptional talent in one or more specific areas, such as academics, the arts, or athletics. Individuals with above average ability typically demonstrate advanced cognitive skills, quick learning, and high levels of achievement. Number 2 is the creativity. Renzulli emphasizes the importance of creativity in his model of giftedness. Creativity involves the ability to think divergently, generate original ideas, and approach problems from novel perspectives. Gifted individuals with creative abilities often exhibit curiosity, imagination, and willingness to take risks in their thinking and problem-solving processes. Number 3 is task commitment. Task commitment refers to the motivation, persistence, and passion that gifted individuals exhibit when pursuing their interests and goals. These individuals are often highly motivated to excel in their areas of strength, and they demonstrate a strong work ethic, resilience, and perseverance in the face of challenges or setbacks. Renzulli's three-ring conception suggests that giftedness arises from the dynamic interaction of these three traits. Gifted individuals possess a combination of above-average ability, creativity, and task commitment, which enables them to excel in their chosen domains and make significant contributions to the society. This framework has been influential in shaping both research and practice in the field of gifted education. So now, let's move on to Peer 2's pyramid model of talent development. Peer 2's 1999 definition states that the gifted are those individuals who, by way of having certain learning characteristics such as superior memory, observational powers, curiosity, creativity, and the ability to learn school-related subject matters rapidly and accurately with a minimum of drill and repetition, have a right to an education that is differentiated according to those characteristics. Peer 2 further states that even if gifted students do not become producers of knowledge or makers of novelty, special education should train them to become adults who will produce knowledge or make new artistic and social products. So now let's have the clear definition of Peer 2's pyramid model of talent development. The Peer-to Pyramid model of talent development, developed by Dr. Jane Peerto, is a conceptual framework that illustrates the stages of talent development across an individual's lifespan. This model provides insights into how talent emerges, develops, and is nurtured over time. Here's an overview of the key components of Peer-to's pyramid model. Number 1 is the base layer, or the potential and aptitude. At the foundation of the pyramid are individuals' inherent potential and aptitude. This includes genetic predispositions, innate abilities, and early interests that lay the groundwork for talent development. Potential can manifest in various domains such as intellectual, creative, artistic, athletic, or social emotional abilities. Number 2 is the middle layer, or the skill development. The middle layer of the pyramid represents the ongoing development of skills and competencies that build upon one's inherent potential. This stage involves deliberate practice, instruction, mentorship, and opportunities for learning and growth. Individuals engage in activities and experiences that refine their talents and allow them to progress in their chosen domains. Number 3 is the upper layer, or the excellence and mastery. The upper layer of the pyramid signifies the attainment of excellence and mastery in the particular field or domain. This stage is characterized by exceptional achievement, expertise, and recognition for one's talents. Individuals at this level demonstrate high level of skills, creativity, and performance, often making significant contributions to their fields and communities. So, Peer-to's pyramid model emphasizes the dynamic and multifaceted nature of talent development, highlighting the interaction between innate potential, skill development, and achievement over time. It underscores the importance of nurturing talent through supportive environments, opportunities for growth, and dedicated practice. By understanding the stages of talent development outlined in this model, educators, parents, and practitioners can better support individuals on their journey to realizing their full potential.
Let's proceed to characteristics of gifted and talented children and youth. The previous discussion clearly indicate that giftedness and talent are a complex condition that covers a wide range of human abilities and traits. That is why it must be clearly understood that giftedness and talent vary according to social context. Some students may excel in the academic subjects but may not show special talents in the arts. On the other hand, students who show outstanding talent in sports and athletics, visual and performing arts, or those with leadership abilities may show only average or above average performance in academic subjects. Highly gifted students, according to Silverman's studies, have IQ scores 3 standard deviations or greater above the mean. The IQ score is greater than 145 or 35 to 55 points more or even higher than the average IQ scores of 90 to 100. Among American children, there is only one child in 1,000 or one child in 10,000. Silverman's found the following characteristics among those highly gifted individuals. First is intense intellectual curiosity, fascination with words and ideas, perfectionism, need for precision, learning in great intuitive leaps. Next is intense need for mental stimulation and difficulty conforming to the thinking of others, early moral and existential concern, and Last is tendency toward introversion. There are times when the characteristics of gifted and talented persons are misinterpreted as bordering on abnormal behavior, aggressiveness, antisocial behavior, and the like. Shockley, 1989, cited in Hayward, 2003, listed the identifiers of young, gifted, and talented children as follows: exceptional learner in the acquisition and retention of knowledge. A. Exceptional memory. B. Learns quickly and easily. C. Advanced understanding meaning of area. And next is exceptional user of knowledge in the application and comprehension of knowledge. And first is exceptional use of knowledge. B. Advanced use of symbol systems, expressive and complex. C. Demands a reason for unexplained events. D. Or last, B is reason well in problem solving, draws from previous knowledge, and transfers it to other areas. Exceptional generator of knowledge, individual and creative attributes. First is highly creative behavior in areas of interest and talent. Next is does not conform to typical ways of thinking, perceiving. And next is enjoys self-expression of ideas, feelings, beliefs. Next, keen sense of humor that reflects advanced and usual comprehension of relationships and meaning. Highly developed curiosity about cause, future, and the unknown. While exceptional generator of knowledge focuses on individual and creativeness attributes. For exceptional motivation, individual motivational attributes possesses the child of the following: A. Perfectionism, striving to achieve higher standards, especially in areas of talent and interest. B. Shows initiative, self-directed. C. High level of inquiry and reflection. D. Long attention span when motivated. E. Leadership, desire and ability to lead. F. Intense